Yes, Mr. Mulla, it's Mr. Hussain. Hello, Mr. Mulla, how are you keeping?
We're okay so
Oh,
far.
okay, all right. Well, it's important to stay protected these days.
Mm.
I have been leaving a message for Mr. Kenna every day.
I don't know whether he's working from home or not. I'm not sure.
But you yourself have had a word with him.
I haven't spoken to him over the last few days. I've been too busy here. There's only me and another person in the office, so
Uh, you're like a soldier manning the fort on your own, yes?
yeah, what can I say?
While all the weak and the feeble are succumb to the powers of the coronavirus, eh?
What can I say?
What can I say?
Haven't been able to do anything with that further with that conversation that we had the other day.
Oh dear. Look, I mean, Mr. Muller, as you can appreciate, I'm struggling myself here. I'm having to man the fort on my own, dealing with a very vulnerable person. And the reality is that, we're at this stalemate. And it's having an adverse effect on my family members.
Mm.
Now, all I'm asking for is to have openness and directness with the local authority. Obviously, it's problematic for the local authority for me to be in charge of my brother's finances simply because they've put me into prison previously under false pretenses.
Right. But what I'll do is I'll send a note back to Graham to say have a chat.
Okay.
Next, obviously, you've left messages and what have you, so hopefully he'll respond.
Well, I mean, I'm not hopeful at all because obviously I continue to leave messages and people refuse to engage with me. You see, just the fact that I mean, would it be possible for us to have weekly money? Because obviously this two weekly thing is causing us a great deal of problems.
Well, I can't dictate that because it's Bal and
Okay,
Fungi.
all right. And there must be some reserves build up because we need those reserves now because obviously there's a shortage and how much is it are in reserve? Could we not have any extra funds?
I don't know. I mean, like I say, I'm too busy doing other things to look into that kind of detail. But I'll drop Graham a note to contact you.
Okay, all right, but that's fair enough. But what about these funds? Because obviously you're saying that you're holding emergency funds for your purposes. We need this is an emergency. We need extra funds. I mean, especially since Adalat's holding on to all this substantial amount of money. It's no good this money given to Talib when it's too late.
I'll drop Pat a note to see if she can sort something out. I don't know. I don't know what's in the account or whatever. So
Okay, can I speak to Pat?
she's not in today. She's isolating.
Oh, so she's not going to be in.
Well, she might be working from home next
Okay,
week.
all right. Is there anybody else that deals with the case?
No.
Well, I mean, since you are at work, would it not be possible or convenient for you to look into my brother's account?
To be honest, I'm inundated with stuff that I've already got to sort out because, like I say, I've only got one staff member in.
All right. But because I mean,
I'll pat a note and then hopefully she can.
I mean, Mr. Muller, this has been going on for over a year now.
I know.
And nothing's getting resolved, and ultimately there's a vulnerable person, my brother, who's suffering as a consequence of this. He's meant to have all this money, the hundreds of thousands of pounds that they've taken off me and given it to Adalet now. There's not been any progress on this. This is a moment when we need financial resources, and this is a moment where you the local authority are just being stingy. And you know what? I mean, ultimately, Mr. Muller, I mean, just to end this conversation, the local authority looked to steal my money and my family's money, and look what's happened to them now. And now they're going to waste so much money dealing with this coronavirus thing. And it's just false economy. You shouldn't. The look. I'm obviously laying no criticism with you. You and I get on really well, but the local authority take this really miserly, stingily approach and stolen my family money. This is yateem's money. This is people that are bimar's money, and handed it out to all their friends and associates, and only to find themselves now where they're actually going to end up a lot worse off because of this coronavirus thing. This is karma coming to bite everybody on the backside. They shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't. Everybody knows it's like. I don't know if you're familiar with the Indian concept of pap. This is pap, i.e., bad karma to do these things to disable people. And obviously this is the consequences. Or I know this is for my own personal circumstance. I know there's wider issues at hand with everybody suffering from this coronavirus. But look, I mean, the situation is that they've taken all this money, hoarding this money, and not being direct and open with us. To date, Mr. Muller, I have not received anything in writing stating that the local authority can be in charge of my brother's money. Number one, and number two is my brother saying to me, "Look, I'm fine. Why are they in charge of my money?" And
Sure, I'll pass the message.
Oh well, this is the thing, Mr. Mulla. You can pass on the message, but would it not be? Did you manage to speak to Bev Mabry?
Well, she's obviously got other stuff on her mind.
Well, this like I said, karma coming to bite you in the behind now, innit? Yeah, she's got a lot more. She's worried about my family. Worried about my mum saying, "Oh, we want a care act, blah blah, duty of care." All right, and now you got a duty of care to everybody else. So I'm sure a lot of people are gonna die, Mr. Muller. And this is a very serious matter now. A lot of people are going to die. Luckily for my family, I'm still here manning the fort, much like yourself, trying to ensure that they're not suffer adversely. But like I said, this situation needs to be resolved one way or another. Obviously, they're trying to put me back into prison. That all fell apart. It just beggars belief how this local authority operates. It just absolutely beggars belief, and I just feel very conscious of the fact that someone like yourself are being fronted for me to for me to give you an earful when obviously I have no issue with you, and it's nothing to do with our relationship. It's only to do with senior management who are hiding behind the corporate veil. And it's just unfair on yourself and upon myself for me to ring you up like this, especially when you're saying you're inundated. Number one. And number two is that, Bali and Fungi have been doing this previously, as you have stated, on a goodwill gesture. What's next? Is it going to be every 4 weeks or every 3 months that we're going to get the money? Yeah, that's it. And I've said I'm willing to resolve. One way to resolve this is I'll give you my bank account details. You can put the money straight in there. All right, but you're saying no, we don't want to do it that way. Another option is for you. I've received a letter from the DWP saying that we need yourself to relinquish the appointeeship, the corporate appointeeship. If you remember in a previous conversation, you said you had no issue with this. You had loads of other people to deal with. Now that you have become the corporate appointee, your seniors are telling you not to relinquish the appointeeship. That's another way to relieve the situation. Okay, no, thank you very much for your time. But please, who are you going to pass on the message to? Yeah, if you can make all these points to Mr. Graham Kenner and or Bev Mabry and say, look, I'm trying to resolve the situation. You want to continue, and please can you highlight to them that if they want to continue down this route here, it's just going to end up more egg in their face more than anything else. Okay, Mr. Mulla, thank you very much.